Villainous by It's_Kingston on AO3. Episode 14, Chapter 10, Suit. It was 2:45 p.m. when Ochako had finished making and eating her lunch. Or was it more of an in-between lunch and dinner? She wondered if that had a name. Either way, it didn't matter. She was down to 5 hours until she met the League. And boy, was it nerve-wracking. She'd met Toga, obviously, and she vaguely knew of twice from her short exchange. Dabi, Shigaraki, and Kirigiri only existed to her through stories and case files. What were they really like? Easygoing like Toga and Twice seemed to be? Would they suspect her instantly? Should she try lying to them? What if they found out about what she was doing? She'd get a quick death, right? Ochako couldn't say she knew Twice nor Toga better than any accomplice would. That's all she was to them right now. Toga seemed mysterious, far more than the masked Twice. It was the way she carried herself, like she had something to hide. Or was it something to hide behind? Ochako couldn't tell. Then again, she did have something to hide. She was one of the world's most wanted criminals. Ochako couldn't seem to wrap her mind around that simple fact. Toga, the cute blonde girl who Ochako begrudgingly assisted with breaking and entering and theft and murder, was a villain. Well, now that she said it like that, it wasn't hard to understand. Maybe it was because the heroes made her sound more deranged than she was. In all honesty, Toga struck her more as the convictive type, the type who'd plot against someone and take a slow and sweet revenge. But on the other hand, she could probably be emotional at times, getting caught up in her own feelings about the issue and reacting poorly. In layman's terms, she was just a human, as any hero was. This wasn't the truth, was it? Was Ochako skewing the scale to make her actions against the woman justified? Or was the League truly not as bad as Yue made them out to be? At the very least, Toga seemed quite alright. Ochako still sat at the kitchen table, empty plate in front of her, and no one around, stuck contemplating human morals over lunch. It was lonely. All her friends were off on a group field trip. Sue might call her later, but the chances were higher tomorrow. Could she ask Toga if she wanted to hang out? No, wait. You don't just ask a supervillain to walk around the mall or get ice cream with you, especially when you're a hero. That's just how life went. Ochako felt put off by her careless thinking, as if she had been caught in the charade of being a villain. She was truly getting into her role. Did she need a villain name? Or could it be her hero one? No, definitely not. She should keep her 2, technically 3, lives separate. She cleaned up her mess and retreated back to her dorm room. Pulling out a sheet of paper, Ochako began sketching out ideas. She'd have to change her suit too, if she wanted this to be done correctly. Something that doesn't show her face, like a pinker version of Twice's getup. Ochako chuckled to herself. What you laughing about, little hero? Ochako almost had a heart attack when she heard Toga's voice from behind her. I forgot to lock the balcony door back, didn't I? She replied, finding herself only a little annoyed. Toga grinned and came closer to the desk, peering over the hero's shoulder. Yeah, you did. What you working on? Toga asked curiously, trying to make sense of the notes and arrows pointing to different features. Ochako took a deep breath, preparing herself for the coming explanation. She'd been sent by Yue to gain the villain's trust, but she had pretended to betray Yue to do that, so she'll have to pretend to not particularly like Yue, whom she was working for. Just a little confusing, and definitely a weird situation that led to the current conversation. Well, if I want to stay at UA as a hero, then I can't go around calling myself Uravity and doing terrible things. That's really, really obvious. And if my name is different, but my suit is the same, that's even worse. Ochako didn't look up from her current masterpiece, a mess of lines and eraser dust. Is that what it's gonna look like? 'Cause I don't know if you could wear that. Toga seemed amused by the scribbles, and more so the idea of the gravity hero becoming a gravity villain. Shush, it's the rough draft. And if I didn't have a surprise guess, I could get more work done. Ochako complained, though she was grateful to have the company. She hadn't felt truly alone with the woman's face hanging over her, and she'd wished for once she was. Toga being here was a change of pace, one that kept her semi-sane, Ochako reasoned. As sane as you can stay while in the company of someone who belongs behind bars. You should have locked your door, Toga replied, flashing that signature smile of hers. I know, Ochako grumbled. Did you need something, or was this a random visit? Oh, Shiggy asked me to keep extra tabs on you, since you're extra suspicious. Ochako felt her heart slam into her ribcage before dropping to her stomach. The little accusation had her mind whirling and spinning like a roller coaster cart as it sped around the tracks. She wondered if Toga could tell. I guess so. Ochako agreed with a half-hearted shrug. So are you just gonna hang around all day? Yeah, either I catch you doing something backstabby, or I don't. And if I do, I kill you. Toga paused, stressing Ochako even more. If not, then either you're clean, or, if you had a plan, I might mess it up by being around. Yeah, that makes sense. Ochako hummed. My only plans were to stay here and work on this until it was time to meet with you guys. Guess I'll get comfy. Okay, I think I've decided on a name. Ochako spun around in her swivel chair to face Toga, who laid quietly on the hero's bed. It had taken many minutes of madness scribbles to clear her head enough to continue planning her suit out again. Ochako was actually starting to wonder if the girl was even awake anymore. The blonde didn't reply, only lied there silently. Toga? Ochako stood up, trying her best not to make a sound as she approached the girl. The villain had fallen asleep, cuddled against Ochako's pillow, smiling softly. Aww, Ochako said a bit too loudly, as she admired the girl. She berated herself instantly. What kind of reaction was that? Toga sat up quickly, eyes scanning the room before settling on Ochako, who stood right in front of her. What? Toga asked, stretching her arms above her head. The room was suddenly very warm to Ochako, who retreated back a few steps before turning to hide the red glow on her face. Maybe saying "ah" to a serial murderer sleeping in her bed wasn't exactly expected. I didn't mean to wake you up. You just look so adorable laying there, Ochako said, walking back to her chair. She had realized what she said far too late to take it back, and hoped that the villain wouldn't notice. Luckily enough, Toga didn't seem to. That didn't stop Ochako from wondering what was wrong with her, though. Lack of sleep seemed to be her go-to recently, so she blamed it on that. Her brain wasn't functioning like it should. I finished the design and came up with a name while you were napping. Toga appeared behind her, looking at the page. There was a new suit designed by Ochako. It had a different general shape. Where her hero suit would look more bubble-like, this one was more stream-like for better control of air. The helmet visor was tinted black, so you couldn't see her face, no matter how close you got. Fingerless gloves were a new addition, dark purple color with pink stripes both seams. It left enough space at the fingertips for her quirk to still be used with them on. There wasn't much of a pattern on the main part of the suit, just solid dark purple, and more pink down the seams. Around the helmet's visor copied the same pattern as with her shoes, the laces being white to contrast the dark colors. The shoes now look like the tennis shoes of a professional athlete, as opposed to the heavy metal boots that marked of her suit's convenience with her switch. She had a feeling she might miss the shock absorption and padding, but this suit was designed to be lightweight, so she could float higher and faster with less work. Hopefully the training she had been put through by Aizawa would pay off, and she would live without the headache and nausea suppressors too. She'd have to do without it though, for that tech was made specifically for Uraraka Ochako, UA student. If a villain had it, it would be suspicious. Her original suit had a color palette of pink, white, and a final color between blue and black. This one, on the other hand, was primarily dark purple with pink seams, and the occasional white. It was dark to ensure it would blend in. Bright colors and fancy designs stood out, especially in the terms of stealth. The final product looked incredibly different, and when compared to her hero suit, it was nearly impossible to tell it was the same person who designed them. Toga hummed in response, as Ochako explains the in and outs of the suit, watching patiently behind her. What's the name you went with? Oh, I'm proud of this name. Ochako began, trying to create dramatic effect by waiting. Negate. Negate? Toga asked, still looking curiously at the suit. That sounds like a name. Yeah, I just needed to drop this off downstairs and wait for them to get around to making it. Ochako said, filling out the details on the back of the form sheet. Wait, are you crazy? Toga seemed to find the situation worrying and amusing at the same time. You're gonna ask the hero school to make your villain suit? Do you want to get caught? I didn't think about that. Truth be told, Ochako did very much think of that. Aizawa gave her this mission to infiltrate the League, so she wasn't trying to keep the suit from the facility. Well, if she went around doing crime in the suit, it was probably best to keep it away from the heroes. Come on, bring your form. We're going early so I can introduce you to the League's official suit designer and maker, Toga declared, heading to the balcony. Wait, really? You guys have one of those? Ochako was more freaked out by meeting the League, but this was still a pressing matter. Of course we do. Do we think we just picked these up at the store? Toga asked, gesturing to her clothes before turning back around. I mean, Dobby does, but most of us are classy enough to have our own custom suits. The pair walked in silence for a while before stopping towards the back of the park. It was the park that they met in, though pretty far from the bench Ochako had sat on. Wait, the League lives in a children's park? Ochako asked, genuinely concerned as to how no one had found them yet. Toga seemed to find this hilarious, trying to keep a straight face, as she took out her phone. No, but we agreed to meet up at 3.5 hours from now, so I've got to let them know that we're on our way to the spot. The phone rang for a minute, before being picked up by another in the line. Hey, Kirigiri, could you guys leave me for the other place sooner? Yeah, like closer to now than later? We're on the way. Toga groaned. Yes, I know what patience is, and yes, I have some. Are you guys leaving early or not? It's not like you even have to walk. You go by portal. Okay. Thanks. Bye, Kiro. Toga slid the phone back into her pocket and spun around to face Ochako. They'll probably be there soon, so we should get moving. Okay. Ochako nodded. Alright, okay, chapter 11 is called Leak, so we can decipher what's gonna happen. Oh my god, this is interesting. This is nice. I think this is gonna be the last episode I record before I head off to my vacay for a couple days and then come back. You guys will not notice, so do not worry. By the time that this video is uploaded, I'm already coming back from my vacation, so you don't have to worry about that. But, this is getting juicy. I might read one more chapter, but if I don't, I'm left in a small cliffhanger. It's not like a big cliffhanger, like one of my biggest worries when I knew I was gonna go to this convention. It's a cat convention. I was worried that I was gonna go to CatCon being all, left in a cliffhanger. And a huge one too, but no. Also, Ochako, you catching the feels real quick. Okay, where's the internalized homophobia? I was promised internalized homophobia. Is that going to make an appearance so far? Will that make an appearance? I do love me a good internalized homophobia. Right? I myself have never personally experienced internalized homophobia, but I have seen and heard of people who have internalized homophobia. To those people, I say, I am sorry that you have to go through internalized homophobia. That probably sucks. Oh no, that definitely sucks. I mean, I don't think internalized homophobia would be fun, you know? Because, you're just denying yourself of something that clearly you are, but for some reason, your own bigotry to yourself, mind you, because I'm sorry, you're being bigoted towards yourself. Honey, darling, baby, baby boy, baby girl, whatever you are, male, female, whatever the fuck suits your needs, suits your wants. I hate to break it to you, but you're a girly pop. And nothing you do will stop you from being a girly pop. Girly pop is not a lifestyle. Girly pop is something that you're born with, unfortunately. And not as in like, oh no, you're unfortunately born with it. I mean, like, unfortunately, we can't change who we are, right? Trust me, a lot of people probably would have changed it, especially considering what, you know, LGBT people, especially back in the day, had to suffer through and stuff like that. But it is what it is. It is what it is, and you have to live with that. You literally have to forcefully live with that. Nothing you do will, stop that from happening. You know, you will forever and always be a girly pop, and you have to understand that. So, where's my internalized homophobia? I want to have this talk with Uraraka. Wait, is the internalized homophobia Toga? No, but we haven't had yes, we have had a Toga point of view. Is it Toga? Oh, that would be the plot twist. You would think the internalized homophobia is Ochako. Huh. Well, it's got me thinking. Okay, alright. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.